A story called as My Earthquake Experience in Tokyo. This story is written by Andrew Petras. So let's start with the story. I had just emerged from the belly of the Tokyo metro system, 4 floors beneath the Shinjuku station, the world's busiest train station. Thousands of computers and tourists jam parallel train platforms and the shops in the arcades. It was about around 3 p.m. I was lined up at the bullet train ticket counter to inquire about a trip to Nagoya, some 200 miles southwest of Tokyo, to shoot some pictures there tomorrow. It was then that I felt the ground move under me slightly. It was almost imperceptible, like a subway rumbling through a tunnel far beneath my feet. I ignored it, as everyone around me. Then, seconds later, a violent shuddering. Things started crashing to the ground, and signs hanging from the ceiling began swinging violently. I looked at an elderly man next to me. He smiled back at me and said one word: earthquake. So, the first paragraph actually explains about where he was, where is the story starting, what is it all about. For example, he just came from the belly of the he just came to the belly of the Tokyo metro system, Shinjuku station. That's a place. So what actually happened was it was around evening when he was like inquiring about tickets to Nagoya, which is 200 miles southwest from Tokyo. That time when he was inquiring, he felt a sudden shook and like the ground move. Even if it happened to me or you, we would think it's just a normal thing and someone is moving something or a subway is running through us. But after a few seconds, there was a big earthquake, shuddering things off and crashing to the ground, and the signs were hanging from the ceiling like they were like upside down or fallen down or hurt someone. They were swinging violently. Just then, he looked at an elderly man who's like an old man. The elderly man smiled at him and said, "Earthquake." He meant that the earthquake is gonna be really violent. But yeah, so this is the first paragraph all about. Now let's read the second paragraph. I ran for the door about 60 feet away. The ground was shaking so violently that it was difficult to run in a straight line, like trying to sprint across the deck of a ship being tossed by swells. My heart was pounding when I reached the street and darted for a large park surrounded by skyscrapers. My mind replayed the image of the World Trade Center crashing to the ground. So when the elderly man said earthquake, after like few seconds, he ran to the door, which is about 60 feet away, which is specified in this paragraph, because because of the ground was shaking so violently. He faced the difficulty to run in a straight line. He was like sprinting across. He felt like sprinting across the deck of a ship. He was being tossed by swells. He thought it. His heart was pounding when he saw like this park surrounded by skyscrapers. They were all fallen down and into many different parts, and it was totally broken down. At that second, he replayed the image of the World Trade Center crashing by a war in America. So that is all about the paragraph 2. Now let's learn about the paragraph 3. The noise was unreal. You could hear the buildings creak and groan as they shook in their foundations. I wanted to get as far as away from these buildings as possible. But in Tokyo, finding in any open truly space is virtually impossible. So this paragraph 3 is saying that he felt the noises was unreal. He felt like he was in a movie, like the buildings creaking, groaning, and people crying. Everything made him think these was unreal. Um, so he thought we have to get as far as I could from all these buildings. But suddenly he remembers in Tokyo everything is so congested that he can't find an open space. So this is about the paragraph 3. Now coming to the paragraph 4. I turned to look at the building that had I just run out. It was convulsing uncontrollably. You could still hear the ground rattling as thousands of people evacuated off the building. I started to shoot pictures of everything that was happening. So, in the fourth stanza or paragraph, the author is telling that when he turned around to see what had happened to the building, it was on the ground, but he can still hear rattling, like screaming of people, and like they were evacuating from the building. If you don't know what is evacuating, is that going from a danger place to a safe place is called as evacuating. So yeah, and suddenly he remembered like he could shoot some pictures of that frightening full event. So he started. He took his camera and started taking pictures of everything that was happening. Now let's come to paragraph 5. It was then that I felt the ground move under me slightly. It was almost imperceptible. Then, second later, a violent shuddering. Okay, now let's come to the paragraph 5. I stood in the park for 2 good hours and did most everyone else. During this time, the ground continued to tremble albeit less violently. So, albeit means although less violently. I would find out later that afternoon that the quake was magnitude 8.9, the strongest earthquake to hit Japan in recorded history. Some people were visibly shaken. There were a few women crying, people pointing up at the building as they shook, but many others appeared calm and relaxed. So this paragraph 5 is saying that after like the earthquake and stuff, everything settled down a little bit, and he went to the park for 2 good hours, but he was still in the shock. Still, the ground was moving, but little less violently, like a little earthquake, not a lot. Like I think it'll be 1.9 or something. But after like some time, Japan recorded that this earthquake was magnitude 8.9, which is basically the strongest earthquake to hit in Japan. Like before that, I don't know after that, but the author also mentions that like how was the other people after that incident. He's telling that some were visibly shaken or still in that thing, have not come out, and there were women crying, but some people were pointing up at the building and saying to their uh, friends or family, whoever is near them. But many other appeared calm and relaxed, which is best for them. Okay, now let's come to paragraph 6. Making my way back to the hotel was an epic journey. The rail system in Tokyo was completely shut down and millions were trying to make their home on foot. The streets were gridlocked, but I didn't learn how to catch a foreign. The event had actually been until I got to my hotel and turned on news. The coastal areas of Japan, especially 100 miles to the north, were devastated beyond recognition. So, in the sixth paragraph, the author is telling that going to the his hotel was an adventurous journey because he was seeing like a different people who was like upset, still in shock. A lot of ambulance, like a lot of stuff going on. So after that incident, they shut down the rail system, which made people walk to their homes on feet. So the streets were locked so that no one can enter because it's like damaged. And when he went to his room or hotel, he turned on the news to see that the coastal areas of Japan were devastated beyond recognition because there were tsunami. Now let's come to the paragraph 7, last paragraph. As I write this, the aftershocks are still hitting hard. I am on dry land and yet I feel seasick. I have lived through many frightening days. I nearly drowned last year while whitewater rafting in Africa, but this earthquake will never be forever burnt in my memory as the most harrowing experience of all I saw. I saw 100-story buildings sway away like palm trees in the wind as the earth revolved beneath my feet. Now I think I've seen it all. So in paragraph 7, the last paragraph, the writer says that even if it's like still I'm writing this after like a few days, months, I'm still in that shock. He's telling that after that incident, I'm still in dry land, but I yet feel seasick. So, what if you don't know what is seasick? It's like a common disease when people are sick to the sea and water and the boats while riding on the sea. That's called a seasick. And he continues to remember that one of the frightening days, he told that while whitewater rafting in Africa, he almost drowned, but like even the earthquake and like the whitewater rafting, drowning, everything, but this earthquake took over them all. He saw the 100-story building fall away like palm trees in the wind, and he tells that now I've seen it all. I can face the problems in my life. So yeah, this is all about it. Now let's read about Andrew Petras. So Andrew Petras is a full-time professional photojournalist. Uh, so yeah, so yeah. So this is a little information about Andrew Petras. He is a full-time professional photojournalist who recorded all of this and wrote this story. So thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you like my video, subscribe to it, and maybe you can share. And I hope this video will be helpful for writing your exams. And also make sure you check out my other videos which have been uploaded. See you in my next video. Bye.